Okay, we've got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, to start with, is Lue Elizondo going to be part of the new administration in some sort of UFO capacity? Some are calling it the UFO czar. You know, it's been a big story. Some are saying, well, maybe not Lue. Maybe somebody else would be a better fit. You know, Dave Grush, Jay Stratton, somebody else. Well, let's see what Lue Elizondo says about potentially joining the new administration.
Elizondo, are you going to work for the administration?
Can I buy a vowel, Chris?
You know you want to know, Tracy. You know you want to know, too. Don't pretend like you're just waiting your turn. Look, there's been a lot of talk, and I got to tell you, Luis, it buoys the spirits of many, me included. You know what you're talking about. Your service record is impeccable. You care, and I've heard they're asking you. Is there anything that you can share at this point? And don't pretend you have a communication problem and that you can't get the signal straight.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Chris.
Yeah, see, I knew it.
I've always made it very clear that my loyalty is to the United States government and to the American people. If my country asks me to put my boots back on and serve, I will do so. I am in the process of making some recommendations to some individuals that hopefully will help add some clarity to not just my old issue, which was UAPs, but now the drone issue. Unfortunately, our government is woefully behind this topic, and as we're seeing now in Ukraine and Russia, drones are being weaponized and used quite effectively as...
Okay, yeah, well, with that ability to pivot, he's going to do well in any administration. But there you go, Lou talking about potentially joining the new administration. He says if he's asked, he'll do it. Well, he's doing more than ask, right? Or he's doing more than being waiting to be asked. He is he's putting his hat in the ring, so or putting his name in the hat. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, but I'll put this out there. Yeah, on day one, Susan Goff may have to find a new job. Meanwhile, remember this lady, Michaela Fakar, supposedly U.S.-China subject matter expert, national security U.S. Air Force veteran. She's got almost 20,000 followers on Twitter, on X, and she came out saying that she believed the Tesla bomber was still alive. Well, now there's serious doubt being thrown on whether she is actually a real person. Oh, God, yeah. Mel says, I thought you live in Washington, D.C. Your Facebook page, which was just created in September, says you were here at Fort Bragg then. Interesting that you're not choosing to share this information on that page as well. Is it because you only have 5 friends and they're all bots? Why is it that I can't find a single record of a Michaela Fakar, I said that right, existing prior to October 2021? And all the 2021 records are just you registering shell companies in your name in McLean, Virginia. Even when I Google your presumably maiden name, which I located on one of those registrations, absolutely nothing comes up. Not from Georgetown or the Air Force or even from SUNY, where you supposedly got your BA in International Studies before joining the Air Force Reserves enlisted. Is it because you don't actually exist? Now, Michaela did reply. It wasn't much of a reply. But let me see if I can find it. Here it is. She says, no, it's because I'm not going to sit here and try to make you believe me while Berg is out there trying to evade until we can get him to safety. So that is her reply. Is she a real person? Is she not a real person? I don't know. But the story gets weirder, guys. It gets much weirder because there is supposedly a video that is supposedly shown on CNN, although I haven't seen that actually on CNN anywhere. But it's got the CNN watermark here. But it's a side view video of the Tesla bombing, the explosion of the vehicle. So, is this a real video? That is the intriguing question, because there are people There's a certain analysis. I think there's multiple, but there's this individual right here going through his analysis of the footage of that side view footage that was supposedly shown on CNN. And his conclusion was that this was AI generated. That not the original source video, but that this side view video was AI generated. So I'll let you watch his full analysis at your leisure, but what are we to make of all this? We've got possibly fake accounts spreading disinformation. We have AI generated videos. Is there intentional misinformation around this Tesla bomber? Is that what's going on? Because that Michaela Bakar, whatever her name is, I mean, on Twitter, she has almost 20,000 followers. Are those all bots? If those are all or largely bots, how sophisticated of an operation does it require to have that many fake followers? I don't know. I'm not a bot farm expert, but you bot farm experts out there, tell me, how sophisticated of an operation does it have to be? Could one person do that, or does that need to be some sort of more coordinated effort? Is there a coordinated disinformation campaign around this? And if so, what does that mean? Meanwhile, a cool UFO video, location Palm Beach, Florida, Type 3 UFO UAP sphere flying past drone at extreme speed. Don't blink, you might miss it. All right, let's check it out. Don't blink. We got the drone. Somebody's filming the drone, and there, boom. Looks like a Dragon UFO, a Dragon type UFO, buzzing an aerial vehicle, going right past it at super fast speeds, surely going faster than the speed of sound without, creating a sonic boom. I mean, that is incredible. I think this is likely legit footage. I mean, it's so hard to tell these days. But if this is legit, this is possibly a great sighting of a Dragon type UFO. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, that was coined by Dr. Robert Scheip, who has been studying this phenomenon extensively. These small UFOs that buzz aerial objects. And he called them dragons because at first he thought they were dragonflies. But continued research and study and taking videos of these convinced him that they weren't dragonflies. Although some of them seem to have wing-like appendages or what kind of looks like wings. He thinks they're like plasma jets. But anyway, there you go. Really cool UFO video. Let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, what about the mystery fog? Is that still going on? Well, as of January 4th, the naturalized alien was saying the fog is here in Colorado. And yes, we're feeling it. People are unfortunately experiencing breathing issues. What is this stuff? So yeah, what is it? And it looks like there's another air quality alert. We saw a few days ago there was an air quality alert. I think it was from last week in Florida. Now it looks like there is one from January 3rd in Colorado due to the mystery fog. What the hell, guys? What's going on? Let me know your theories. This doesn't seem normal to me. Of course, we're all like heightened, right? There is the, possibility of mass hysteria when we're all in this heightened state, looking at the skies, waiting for the next shoe to drop. So is this normal? Is there something funky with that fog? Meanwhile, check this out. As Red Panda Koala reports suspicious copyright strike on orb UFO video near Picatinny Arsenal. Timeline of events. Reddit user, that one, I don't think you can pronounce that, to Tattle 313. Post an orb UFO video on Reddit December 21st. His account seemed active and normal and not someone who posts in UFO subreddits. I DM'd him asking him if he wants to do a witness testimony about what he saw, and he agrees. We go to the space. He was nice and personable and felt he witnessed something anomalous. I post the interview to my YouTube channel immediately. A few days later, I get hit with a copyright strike on my interview from a company called Viral Hog, claiming ownership of the orb UFO video. There are many options someone can do when filing a copyright claim. This random company opted to go for the most severe option and levied a strike against my channel. Now, Ross Coulthard has replied to this, saying, is the government using fake copyright strikes through a third-party agency to remove purported drone vision from social media. If true, why would any government agency want to suppress information about mystery objects breaching sensitive national security airspace in defiance of drone bans? Great question, Ross. I have also noticed a distinct lack of reporting in the media. When the mystery drones first started off, there was a wave of reporting about them. It kind of had to grow, organically, but then there was a wave of reporting about it in the media. And then all of a sudden it stopped. But the mystery drone phenomenon is still going on. So does that mean somebody clamped down on this stuff and is suppressing this? Or is it the same entity suppressing this through copyright strikes? Will I get a copyright strike for posting this video? Well, I guess we'll see. Meanwhile, Jaime Maussan posted a cool UFO video from Phoenix, Arizona on the 1st. Check it out.
No, that's not a building. What is that? They're in a throw. What? Wait.
Now, those objects are really bright. I mean, you would think that people in the city would be seeing this and that there'd be multiple videos of this. When there's a big sighting like that over a real populated area, I always wonder, if there's not multiple videos of it, why aren't there multiple videos of it? Could these be planes coming in for a landing? To me, they look too closely grouped for that. They don't look quite like planes, I don't think. So I think this is probably legit footage of a UFOs over a populated area. But yeah, why aren't there more angles on this from more people looking up at these objects? And if you guys have seen them, let me know. But this is definitely a really interesting video, and of course it's doubly interesting that it's Phoenix, home of course the Phoenix Lights incident. Oh look, here's Ross talking about the very same thing that I was talking about a minute ago. These mystery objects are still hovering with obvious impunity over one of the most sensitive military bases in the UK, RAF Lakenheath and others. Yet much of the MSM lazily and unquestioningly supports the false narrative that these supposed drones are no longer being seen. And he reposts this from Tony, 6 drones up and around Lakenheath despite the drone ban in place. So I'm not seeing the actual video unless this is it. Okay, what are we looking at here? Just looking at a blank screen, not seeing anything there. But there you go, Ross talking about how the media is not covering an ongoing phenomenon. And yes, it does still seem to be ongoing. And yes, some of these things look like planes, but they don't seem to be planes. They're like drones pretending to be planes, or else they're UFOs pretending to be drones, pretending to be planes. Whatever's going on, really crazy stuff. Why are they pretending to be drones, pretending to be planes, if indeed it is the phenomenon? Well, let's examine that. Why are these things pretending to be other things? Well, let's see what Calm Kelleher was saying back in the day. Not that long ago on the UFO podcast.
The National Institute for Discovery Science program, back between 1996 and 2004, NIDS was in the middle of this, what can only be called a UFO wave of these black triangle sightings. And that was these low-flying, football field size, silent, extremely brightly lit objects that would, routinely fly over crowded neighborhoods, fly down interstate highways at extraordinarily low altitudes. I mean, when I say low altitude, I'm not talking about 1,000 feet. I'm talking about treetop level, 60 feet, 70 feet, 100 feet. I mean, ridiculously dangerous. And we started investigating those things. And the first thing we thought of was, these are obviously Air Force programs. And we investigated the first 10 under that auspices. But by the time we reached 100 separate cases that we had investigated all over the United States that were essentially identical, the the same thing was happening all the time. Extremely low, extremely brightly lit, very large, very silent, and using, I mean, talk about air safety violations. Those pilots we postulated had to be on some really heavy drugs or something to warrant these violations. Eventually, the data became so overwhelming that one of the hypotheses we put out was that this phenomenon was actually mimicking Air Force Special Access programs.
So yeah, the phenomenon, the UFO phenomenon, mimicking special access program, high tech classified vehicles, which is fascinating, right? If the UFO phenomenon can mimic planes or whatever they want to mimic, I've shown a couple of videos of them mimicking clouds. Why would they mimic a classified vehicles? What's that about? Are they sending a message to somebody with that mimicry? Colin Kelleher talks about how this is deceptive, and he talks about the layers of deception by the government and by the phenomenon. And while pretending to be something that you're not is definitely deceptive, you could also look at it in different ways. Maybe it's sending a message to somebody. And obviously, if these vehicles can pretend to be things they're not, they can also probably cloak themselves. UFOs seem to have cloaking technology. If they don't want to be seen, they're not. So why deliberately show themselves as these classified vehicles? I think that's fascinating. Also, it might shed some light on what we're seeing with the mystery drones, since a lot of them do look like drones. Are they actually looking like classified drones in some black project? This is, the newest iteration of, Area 51 or Lockheed Martin drones, right? Potentially, that the phenomenon could be mimicking. But it gets even weirder than that, guys. UFOs are so weird. Like I have a friend who saw a plane, a UFO plane, UFO pretending to be a plane, kind of. So she was at a big box store. I forget what it was. I think it was like a Lowe's. And there's this giant 747 that flew right over the box store. Huge noise. Nobody heard it. Or no, hang on. Maybe it didn't even make a noise. Maybe it was just a huge plane that flew over the box store and nobody heard it. I'm trying to get my facts straight, and nobody saw it, nobody heard it except her. She was the only one that noticed it. She looked up and there's this giant plane flying over where she is in the parking lot. And so she gets her phone out and snaps a picture. The plane passes, or the object passes, and all that is left on her phone is this picture of a tiny plane way up in the sky. The only anomalous thing that you can see in that picture is that the street lights are kind of fuzzy. The street lights sticking up from the parking lot are kind of blurry, like the field generated by the cloaking device or the mimicry, whatever was going on, distorted the camera a little bit, or else the hacking of the camera distorted it, because it seems to be similar to the technology displayed by the Las Vegas backyard alien that appears on the video as just the shadow. The people were walking right by it, they didn't even see it. But crime scene analyst or crime video analyst Scott Roeder examined that video and said that where that being was, it was a cloaked being apparently. All you can see in the video, it looks like a big shadow behind the fence. Well, where that shadow is, there's only 50% of the amount of pixels as in the rest of the frame. So that being was cloaking itself visually from the people walking by and also from the camera. It was hacking the camera and manipulating it so that the camera couldn't see it, couldn't even get very many pixels to examine. So I think my friend experienced something similar to that. Her phone was hacked and the visual was altered. But why did it want her to see it at all? It obviously seems to have projected this image of a giant plane in her mind. There was surely a UFO there, and it wanted her to be aware of it. but nobody else. She was an experiencer, and she's a very, a spiritual person, a very connected person. And, so, maybe it's one of her, star family or something like that, right? So it wanted her to be aware of their presence without freaking her out in the way that maybe a UFO would. So it showed her this giant plane. So that's another example of plane UFOs, of UFOs pretending to be planes. So on the one hand, you have UFOs that are mimicking, high-tech classified craft. On the other hand, they can simply project something into your mind. And on the other hand, you can't necessarily trust what you can get on a camera because they can manipulate that too. So really interesting stuff, guys. Let me know what you think about that. Meanwhile, I had to share this video because this was filmed in the Texas Hill Country, where I've spent a lot of time. My mom used to live in the Hill Country and loved the Hill Country. My mom lived out in the country, in the Hill Country, for over 20 years. And anyway, so they are seeing orbs there. And I think that is fantastic. Now, this doesn't look like any part of the hill country I'm familiar with, I'll be honest. I'm not seeing a lot of hills there. Usually you see a big old hill, but that could be like a hill in the distance, and they could be standing on some sort of rise. That doesn't look like a hill country tree, but that's obviously planted. So yeah, okay, let's get the audio.
I've seen lots of flashing ones. What in the world? Okay, there was just a whole bunch, as you could tell. Now there's just a few. Let me walk back to the front of my yard.
Okay, you have multiple all over the sky. Dog doesn't seem too bothered. Dog is cool with it. All right, yeah, this is like a 5-minute video. I'll let you watch it at your leisure. Oh, look at that. That's a great visual. Oh, I like that. Painting around, and you just see this like fleet of UFOs. Look at that. That's pretty sweet. I like that. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, cool sighting. Likely legit. Not recognizing this area, but it's probably on the level. Either way, let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this videos, like and subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Also, channel members frequently get to see videos hours before anybody else. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.